The year 1947 was a time of uncertainty, and the world was still recovering from the devastating impact of World War II. As the war ended, a new era was emerging, and with it, new technological advances, as well as new mysteries. One of the most significant mysteries that would arise in the post-war world would come in the form of an alleged UFO crash in the small town of Roswell, New Mexico. It all began in the summer of 1947 when an unusual object reportedly crashed on a ranch just outside of the town. This marked the beginning of what would become one of the most famous and enduring UFO-related events in history, the Roswell incident. A mysterious discovery in the desert. It all started on a bright summer day, June 14, 1947. A rancher named Mac Brazel was working on his property, located about 75 miles north of Roswell, when he discovered something strange. As he was walking along his land, he came across a field filled with strange metallic debris scattered over a wide area. Brazel, unsure of what he had found, investigated further, noticing that the debris was unlike anything he had ever seen before. The pieces were lightweight but very strong and had unusual markings. Some of the pieces seemed to have a thin, metallic, foil-like appearance, while others resembled what he described as some sort of plastic or rubber material. What stood out most was that the debris appeared to be out of place, and its origin was a mystery. Brazel initially thought it might be the wreckage of a weather balloon, which were relatively common at the time for military and meteorological purposes. However, there was something distinctly different about this wreckage. The pieces did not appear to be part of any known weather balloon, and there was no sign of the usual equipment that would accompany such a balloon, such as radar reflectors or other scientific instruments. The wreckage was not like anything Brazel had ever encountered before, and it seemed to be far more complex and mysterious than anything he could identify. Reporting the discovery, Brazel was unsure of what to do with the debris. As a rancher, he was not accustomed to dealing with strange or unknown objects, but he realized that the discovery of such wreckage might be important. After pondering what to do, Brazel decided to take the matter into his own hands and bring the debris to the attention of local authorities. On July 7, 1947, he took some of the wreckage to the Roswell Sheriff's Office, hoping to get an explanation. The sheriff at the time was George Wilcox, and he took Brazel's report seriously, though he did not yet know what the wreckage was. Sheriff Wilcox then contacted the nearby Roswell Army Airfield, RAAF, the military base that would eventually become the focal point of the investigation. The RAAF was already known to be involved in research into high-altitude balloons and classified military operations. Upon hearing the report, the military responded quickly to investigate the unusual discovery. They sent a team to the site, which was located in a remote area of the New Mexico desert. When they arrived, the military team confirmed that the wreckage was unlike anything they had seen before. What happened next remains a subject of much debate. According to official reports from the military, the debris was identified as part of a weather balloon, and the incident was quickly downplayed. However, this official explanation would soon be contradicted by other developments, leading to confusion, skepticism, and suspicion among the public. The role of Major Jesse Marcel. One of the key figures in the early stages of the Roswell incident was Major Jesse Marcel, an intelligence officer with the 509 Bomb Group at the Roswell Army Airfield. Marcel was called to the scene of the wreckage by the military and was among the first to inspect the debris. Marcel, who had extensive training in identifying military equipment, immediately recognized that the materials found on the ranch were unlike anything he had ever seen before. He described the wreckage as consisting of strange, lightweight metal that could not be bent, burned, or otherwise altered. Some of the pieces had hieroglyphic-like markings, while others appeared to be made from materials that were unlike anything known to science at the time. After gathering a sample of the wreckage, Marcel returned to the military base, where he was ordered to transport the materials to higher authorities for further analysis. His first-hand account of the debris was consistent with Brazel's initial report, but it was his testimony that would later become central to the controversy surrounding the Roswell incident. The military's swift reaction. The military's response to the incident was rapid and decisive. Within hours of the discovery, Roswell Army Airfield issued a press release that claimed the wreckage was from a flying disc leading to widespread public excitement. The announcement was brief and left many questions unanswered. The Roswell Daily Record ran a front-page story on July 8, 1947, with the headline, "RAF Captures Flying Saucer on Ranch in Roswell Region." This was the first time the term flying saucer was used in relation to the incident, and it fueled widespread speculation about extraterrestrial life. However, the excitement surrounding the initial press release was short-lived. The following day, the military reversed its position, stating that the wreckage was actually part of a weather balloon that had crashed. This sudden change in the official explanation was a pivotal moment in the story, as it sparked public skepticism and raised questions about the authenticity of the initial claims. Despite the military's official statement, rumors continued to circulate about the true nature of the debris. People began to question whether the government was hiding the truth, and theories about UFOs and extraterrestrial life began to take root in the public imagination. The sudden shift in the official narrative led many to believe that something more was at play, and the Roswell incident became a focal point for UFO enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, and researchers alike. The first few days following the discovery of the wreckage near Roswell were filled with a whirlwind of confusion, public excitement, and ultimately conflicting statements. What began as a report of a flying disc discovered in the New Mexico desert quickly shifted to a much less sensational explanation: a weather balloon. But as we will see, the transition from one story to the other did not come without controversy. It would be the beginning of a decades-long mystery, with conflicting reports, denials, and eventually a public controversy that continues to this day. The press release and the flying saucer story. On July 8, 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield, RAAF, made its first public statement regarding the discovery of the debris. The press release, issued by the base's public relations officer, Walter Haut, initially confirmed that the military had recovered a flying disc. This statement created a buzz across the country. Headlines appeared in newspapers like the Roswell Daily Record, which carried the now famous headline, "RAF Captures Flying Saucer on Ranch in Roswell Region." The sensationalism of the announcement led to widespread media attention and fueled public speculation about UFOs and extraterrestrial life. At the time, the United States was in the midst of the Cold War, and the idea of unidentified flying objects, especially those originating from outside the Earth, seemed like a distinct possibility. Many people believed that the military had encountered a UFO, and the initial release seemed to confirm these suspicions. Eyewitnesses and civilians alike were eager to believe that extraterrestrial visitors might be real. For some, this was an exciting breakthrough, and the media frenzy quickly escalated. News outlets across the country picked up the story, and even radio stations began reporting on the possibility of alien visitors. However, less than 24 hours later, the military took a completely different stance, and this dramatic reversal would only add fuel to the fire. The sudden change in narrative, the weather balloon explanation. On July 9, 1947, the military abruptly changed its story. In a second statement, the Roswell Army Airfield declared that the wreckage was not from a flying saucer, but from a weather balloon that had crashed in the desert. This sudden shift left many wondering why the initial announcement had been made at all, especially given the fact that weather balloons were not known to create such a media stir. The weather balloon explanation seemed logical at first glance, as weather balloons were commonly used by the military for high-altitude research. The idea was that these balloons carried equipment to measure atmospheric conditions, and they could be launched into the sky to collect data on temperature, pressure, and radiation. The military explained that the debris discovered by Mac Brazel was part of a weather balloon that had malfunctioned and crashed on his property. To support this new claim, the military brought out a series of photographs showing weather balloons and the equipment that typically accompanied them. These images depicted large rubber balloons with radar reflectors, and some even included mannequins dressed in high-altitude suits. The military further emphasized that weather balloons were part of a top-secret government program, codenamed Mogul, designed to monitor Soviet nuclear tests during the Cold War. Mogul and the secret military program. The Mogul project was a real and highly classified operation, and it involved launching balloons equipped with microphones designed to detect low-frequency sounds created by nuclear explosions. The microphones were intended to listen for evidence of Soviet nuclear testing, but the technology used in these balloons was top secret and largely unknown to the public. The idea that the Roswell debris came from a failed mogul balloon seemed plausible at the time, and it was presented as the official explanation by the military. Major Jesse Marcel, who had been one of the first military officers on the scene to inspect the wreckage, was later asked about the weather balloon explanation. In a statement made many years after the incident, Marcel revealed that he was not convinced by the military story. Marcel, who had handled the wreckage firsthand, maintained that the materials were unlike anything he had encountered in his years of service. He described the metallic foil, which could not be bent or destroyed, and the strange symbols on the wreckage. These descriptions did not align with the characteristics of weather balloons or their equipment. Despite Marcel's personal doubts, the military stood firm in its explanation. The weather balloon story was reinforced with further press releases, and the narrative of a crashed flying saucer was swiftly erased from the public's consciousness. The media moved on, and the matter seemed to be put to rest. However, this was not the end of the Roswell incident. The controversy over the debris would only grow as more details emerged, and the story was revisited by new generations of UFO enthusiasts and researchers. The impact of the official explanation. The military's official explanation of the weather balloon helped quell public interest in the incident, but it did not completely extinguish the questions that remained. The sudden change in the narrative raised suspicions, and some members of the media and the public began to question the credibility of the military statement. After all, why had the first press release described the debris as a flying saucer if it was really just a weather balloon? Why had the military's explanation shifted so abruptly? Some of the people who had been involved in the initial investigation, including witnesses and civilians, began to publicly express doubts about the weather balloon theory. Mac Brazel, who had originally found the wreckage, became a reluctant celebrity in Roswell. In interviews, Brazel described the debris as far more complex and unusual than a weather balloon, and he began to express doubts that the military's explanation was correct. One of the most vocal critics of the official explanation was Glenn Dennis, a mortician who worked at the Roswell funeral home. Dennis later claimed that he had been approached by military personnel who asked him about providing small, child-sized caskets, and that he was told that the bodies recovered from the crash site were not human. He also claimed that he was told to keep quiet about what he had seen. This alleged encounter with the military further fueled speculation that the incident was far more than a simple weather balloon crash. A new wave of UFO enthusiasm. Although the weather balloon explanation was officially accepted by the government and much of the public, it did little to dampen the growing interest in the possibility of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. In the years that followed, the Roswell incident would be revisited by researchers, UFO enthusiasts, and conspiracy theorists who believed that the military's explanation was a cover-up for a far more extraordinary event. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, UFO sightings across the United States began to increase, and the idea that UFOs might be real gained traction in popular culture. The Roswell incident, once thought to be resolved, was once again thrust into the spotlight as a symbol of the government's alleged attempts to conceal the truth about extraterrestrial life. The combination of the mysterious wreckage, the conflicting military statements, and the rumors surrounding the crash site led to the enduring belief that something extraordinary had indeed happened in Roswell in 1947. As the Roswell incident faded from the headlines, the memory of the event remained alive, particularly among those who had seen the wreckage or been involved in the initial investigation. In the years that followed, witnesses and key figures connected to the event began sharing stories that would cast doubt on the official weather balloon explanation. Eyewitnesses, strange materials, and conflicting testimonies fueled the belief that something far more mysterious had happened in the New Mexico desert, and that the military was hiding the truth. The unlikely testimony of Major Jesse Marcel. One of the most significant voices challenging the military's weather balloon story was Major Jesse Marcel. A key player in the original Roswell investigation, Marcel was among the first military personnel to inspect the debris on Mac Brazel's ranch. According to his account, what he saw that day was unlike anything he had ever encountered in his years of service. In interviews given years after the incident, Marcel described the wreckage as consisting of strange, lightweight metallic materials that defied conventional explanations. He claimed that the debris was exceptionally durable. He attempted to bend and crush it, but it always returned to its original shape. This metallic memory foil, as he described it, did not resemble any known material from a balloon or aircraft. Marcel also recalled unusual symbols inscribed on some pieces of the debris, resembling hieroglyphics, which heightened the mystery surrounding the wreckage. Marcel's statements fueled public interest in the Roswell incident. Many UFO researchers and believers pointed to his military background and credibility, arguing that Marcel would not have been mistaken about the materials he handled. His testimony reignited suspicions that the military had concealed the true nature of the wreckage, with some believing it was of extraterrestrial origin.
Strange symbols and memory metal. The stories surrounding the unusual material discovered at the crash site became an enduring part of the Roswell legend. Witnesses described a memory metal that could not be bent, burned, or broken, and always returned to its original form. Civilian witnesses who saw or handled the material, including Mac Brazel and his family, gave similar descriptions. Several people also described the strange symbols inscribed on the metal fragments. The symbols, often compared to hieroglyphics, were small and intricate, with patterns that seemed to be neither English letters nor numbers. Eyewitnesses claimed the symbols were printed or embossed in a way that defied explanation. This fueled speculation that the material could not have been produced by any known human technology of the time. The existence of these symbols added an element of intrigue to the Roswell incident. Researchers speculated that these markings might be an alien language or an attempt by extraterrestrial beings to convey a message. Skeptics dismissed these claims as a misunderstanding or misinterpretation of common materials. However, the stories of this memory metal and the unusual symbols would become central to the lore surrounding Roswell. Glenn Dennis and the alien bodies. In the 1980s, another intriguing story emerged, adding a dramatic layer to the Roswell mystery. Glenn Dennis, a mortician working at Ballard Funeral Home in Roswell at the time of the crash, came forward with an account that shocked the public. Dennis claimed that he had received an unusual request from the Roswell Army Airfield shortly after the incident. According to Dennis, the military had asked him for several child-sized caskets, along with advice on preserving bodies that had been exposed to the elements. Dennis's account didn't end there. He claimed to have met with a nurse who had been at the base hospital at the time of the Roswell incident. The nurse, according to Dennis, told him she had seen small, non-human bodies recovered from the crash site. She described the beings as having large heads, thin limbs, and grayish skin, consistent with popular depictions of gray aliens. The nurse's story, though never independently verified, became a significant piece of the Roswell legend. Dennis's account of alien bodies was met with both fascination and skepticism. For many UFO believers, it was the ultimate confirmation that extraterrestrial life had been discovered and was being hidden by the military. For skeptics, however, Dennis's claims were impossible to substantiate, especially as he later said that the nurse had mysteriously disappeared. This allegation of a cover-up only deepened the intrigue surrounding the incident. The controversy and the spread of UFO culture. By the 1980s, the Roswell incident had become a cornerstone of UFO culture. The combination of witness accounts, unexplained materials, and stories of alien bodies fueled a wave of new interest in the incident. Books, documentaries, and films were produced, each attempting to shed light on the events of 1947. For many people, Roswell symbolized government secrecy, and the story became a rallying point for those who believed in UFOs and extraterrestrial visitation. One of the most influential books on the subject, The Roswell Incident by Charles Berlitz and William L. Moore, published in 1980, examined the case in detail. Berlitz and Moore interviewed numerous witnesses and uncovered new testimony that had previously been overlooked. They concluded that the military had, indeed, recovered a crashed UFO and its occupants. The book's release marked a turning point in public interest, as Roswell became the most famous UFO case in history. The spread of UFO culture in the 1980s and 1990s saw a growing belief that the government was concealing information about extraterrestrial life. The Roswell incident became a symbol of the UFO phenomenon, representing not only a potential encounter with extraterrestrial life, but also an alleged government cover-up. This period also saw the formation of organizations dedicated to investigating UFO sightings and advocating for government disclosure of any withheld information about alien contact.
The impact on popular culture and public perception. The Roswell story influenced popular culture in profound ways. Films, television shows, and books drew inspiration from the incident, often portraying the events as evidence of an extraterrestrial encounter. The idea of a government cover-up became a recurring theme in Hollywood, with movies such as Close Encounters of the Third Kind and television shows like The X-Files portraying aliens as part of hidden, government-controlled narratives. As UFO culture continued to grow, Roswell became the focal point for believers and skeptics alike. Annual festivals and conventions began to take place in Roswell, attracting UFO enthusiasts from around the world. The small New Mexico town, once known only for agriculture, became a global symbol of extraterrestrial intrigue. Today, Roswell remains a pilgrimage site for those interested in the possibility of alien life, and the Roswell incident is celebrated and remembered as one of the most famous UFO cases in history. Investigations and conspiracy theories. By the late 1980s, the Roswell incident had firmly embedded itself in American culture as a mysterious and controversial event. The stories told by witnesses like Major Jesse Marcel and Glenn Dennis had gained traction, and new accounts continued to surface, fueling suspicions that the military was hiding the truth about an extraterrestrial encounter. This growing interest spurred a wave of investigations, both private and governmental, into what really happened in Roswell in 1947. As researchers delved deeper into the incident, a complex web of conspiracy theories began to take shape, transforming Roswell from a small-town mystery into a global enigma. The release of the Roswell incident and renewed interest. In 1980, Charles Berlitz and William L. Moore's book, The Roswell Incident, renewed public interest in the case. The book introduced new witness testimonies and argued that the military had indeed recovered a crashed extraterrestrial craft along with alien bodies. Berlitz and Moore's work was groundbreaking in that it took witness statements seriously, treating them as credible evidence rather than dismissing them as rumors or misunderstandings. The book became a sensation, sparking debates in living rooms and newsrooms alike. Its publication led to a surge in UFO-related media, from television documentaries to books and articles. For many, the Roswell incident confirmed long-held suspicions about extraterrestrial visits and government cover-ups. The author's findings were compelling enough to attract the attention of serious UFO researchers and skeptics alike, setting the stage for more extensive investigations. In the wake of the Roswell incident, multiple independent researchers began their own inquiries. Among the most notable was Stanton Friedman, a nuclear physicist and prominent UFO researcher. Friedman's scientific background lent credibility to his investigation, and he became one of the most influential voices advocating for the idea that Roswell involved a genuine extraterrestrial encounter. He interviewed witnesses, examined military records, and worked tirelessly to validate the claims made in the Roswell incident. His work played a pivotal role in elevating Roswell from a niche UFO case to one of the most widely discussed events in American history, the majestic 12 documents and allegations of a government cover-up. In 1984, the Roswell story took a dramatic turn when a set of documents surfaced, known as the Majestic 12, or MJ-12, papers. These documents, allegedly classified government records, detailed a top-secret program established by President Harry Truman in 1947 to handle extraterrestrial incidents, including the Roswell crash. According to the MJ-12 documents, this elite committee of scientists, military leaders, and government officials was tasked with studying and concealing evidence of alien contact. The MJ-12 papers described the recovery of alien bodies and an extraterrestrial craft, implying that the U.S. government had known about extraterrestrial life since 1947 and had gone to great lengths to hide it. If authentic, the MJ-12 documents would represent undeniable proof of a massive government cover-up. However, their authenticity remains hotly contested. Some researchers believe the documents are genuine, citing specific details that align with known government operations, while others argue that they are elaborate forgeries created to feed the UFO community's appetite for conspiracy theories. Regardless of their authenticity, the MJ-12 documents intensified public fascination with Roswell and solidified the belief that the government was actively concealing information about extraterrestrial life. Conspiracy theories flourished, with claims that the US military had reverse-engineered alien technology and was secretly collaborating with extraterrestrials. This narrative became a staple of UFO lore and remains popular in discussions about government secrecy and extraterrestrial life. The government's response, Project Blue Book and the Air Force's 1994 report, the growing public interest in Roswell and the surge of conspiracy theories prompted the US government to address the incident directly. In the 1950s, the Air Force launched Project Blue Book, a program tasked with investigating UFO sightings across the country. Although Project Blue Book collected and analyzed thousands of UFO reports, it ultimately concluded that the majority of sightings could be explained by natural phenomena, misidentified aircraft, or other non-extraterrestrial causes. The Roswell incident, however, remained a lingering question that Project Blue Book did not definitively address. In 1994, in response to renewed public interest and pressure from Congress, the U.S. Air Force released a comprehensive report on the Roswell incident. The report aimed to clarify what had happened in 1947 and put an end to the speculation surrounding the incident. According to the Air Force, the debris recovered near Roswell was not from a weather balloon, as initially claimed, but from a classified military project known as Project Mogul. Project Mogul was designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests by using high-altitude balloons equipped with sensitive acoustic sensors. The unusual materials described by witnesses, the report claimed, were part of this top-secret project. The 1994 report also addressed the claims of alien bodies, attributing them to a combination of misidentified crash test dummies used in later military tests and the distortion of memories over time. According to the Air Force, the alien bodies described by witnesses like Glenn Dennis were likely human dummies used in high-altitude tests conducted in the 1950s, long after the Roswell incident. The report argued that these later tests had been conflated with the 1947 crash in the memories of witnesses, leading to the alien body stories that became central to the Roswell legend. Public reaction and skepticism. The Air Force's 1994 report did little to quell public skepticism. While some accepted the Project Mogul explanation, others saw it as yet another cover-up, arguing that the government was simply replacing one false story with another. Skeptics pointed to inconsistencies in the report and questioned the timing of its release, noting that it came decades after the incident and only after substantial public pressure. For UFO believers, the report was a disappointment and reinforced the belief that the government was hiding something far more significant. The idea that the Roswell incident was part of a larger conspiracy gained traction, and researchers continued to pursue alternative explanations. Books, documentaries, and articles proliferated, each offering new theories and interpretations of the events at Roswell. For many, the conflicting stories and lack of concrete evidence only added to the mystery, making Roswell an enduring symbol of hidden truths and unanswered questions. Roswell in the age of conspiracy culture. As the 1990s progressed, Roswell's status as a cornerstone of UFO lore and conspiracy culture only grew. The incident was frequently referenced in popular media, from films and television shows to books and comic strips. Roswell became shorthand for government secrecy and the unknown, resonating with a public increasingly skeptical of UFO. As the 21st century unfolded, Roswell's legacy only continued to grow, becoming a worldwide symbol of the unexplained. The story that had started with a single newspaper headline in 1947 had evolved into a global phenomenon that shaped cultural perceptions of government secrecy, extraterrestrial life, and the potential for alien contact. Roswell had become more than an isolated incident. It represented the tension between what we know, what we believe, and what we may never fully understand. The Roswell incident continues to be a cultural touchstone, captivating generations of believers, skeptics, and the simply curious. Roswell's impact on popular culture. One of Roswell's most lasting influences has been on popular culture. The incident has been referenced in countless movies, television series, and books, from The X-Files and Men in Black to Independence Day and beyond. Roswell is often depicted as the quintessential UFO story, sparking the imaginations of people across the globe and influencing narratives about extraterrestrial encounters. These portrayals have reinforced Roswell's status as the starting point for modern UFO lore, shaping our understanding of alien contact and government secrecy. The influence of Roswell extends beyond entertainment. The incident has fueled the creation of annual UFO festivals, such as the Roswell UFO Festival in New Mexico, where thousands of attendees gather to discuss extraterrestrial life, conspiracy theories, and their own personal experiences with the unknown. The town of Roswell has fully embraced its association with UFOs, transforming itself into a hub for UFO tourism. Statues of aliens, themed museums, and gift shops cater to enthusiasts from around the world, helping to turn Roswell into a cultural landmark as much as a historical one. Roswell's cultural significance is evident in the way it has inspired people to question conventional narratives and explore the possibility of life beyond Earth. For many, Roswell represents a reminder that there is still much we don't know, both about our own world and the cosmos. It has become a symbol of curiosity and the pursuit of truth, inspiring people to seek answers to life's biggest questions, the persistent questions, extraterrestrial life and government secrecy. Roswell's enduring appeal lies in the unresolved questions it raises about extraterrestrial life and the role of government in hiding potentially groundbreaking discoveries. For believers, Roswell is seen as proof that we are not alone in the universe and that powerful forces may be keeping this knowledge from the public. The incident has led to widespread discussions about the implications of discovering alien life. From the scientific and religious perspectives to the ethical questions surrounding human contact with extraterrestrials, the role of government secrecy has become one of the most debated aspects of the Roswell incident. Many people question why the US government would hide such information, and what motives lie behind the alleged cover-up. Some argue that the government feared widespread panic if the truth about extraterrestrials were revealed, while others suggest that reverse engineering alien technology could provide strategic advantages. These theories contribute to a broader cultural narrative that views government institutions as untrustworthy, reinforcing a sense of skepticism that is still prevalent today. The Roswell incident has also inspired a variety of scientific pursuits aimed at exploring the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Organizations like the SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, Institute and NASA's astrobiology programs are dedicated to finding life beyond Earth, driven by the belief that life may exist elsewhere in the universe. Although these organizations are not directly connected to Roswell, the incident has undoubtedly influenced public support for space exploration and the search for alien life. Ongoing investigations and new discoveries. Despite decades of investigation, the Roswell incident remains unresolved, with new theories and alleged evidence emerging periodically. Independent researchers, amateur investigators, and even former government insiders continue to examine the case, hoping to uncover new information that could finally reveal the truth. Over the years, various declassified documents, witness testimonies, and unexplained sightings have added to the mystery, keeping Roswell alive as a subject of debate and fascination. In recent years, new technologies and research methods have brought fresh perspectives to the Roswell story. Digital archiving, advanced imaging techniques, and forensic analysis have allowed investigators to re-examine evidence from the original incident, sometimes yielding surprising insights. Additionally, the rise of citizen journalism and online forums has created a platform for sharing information and theories, making it easier for people around the world to contribute to the investigation. One of the most intriguing developments in recent years has been the increased transparency from government agencies regarding UFO sightings and incidents. In 2020, the U.S. Department of Defense officially released footage of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, reigniting public interest in the possibility of extraterrestrial encounters. These disclosures, while not directly related to Roswell, have added credibility to the idea that governments possess knowledge of unexplained phenomena. For many, these revelations strengthen the belief that Roswell was indeed an extraterrestrial event, as they indicate that UFO sightings and investigations are taken seriously at the highest levels. Roswell's place in the search for truth. The Roswell incident has had a lasting impact on society's relationship with truth, information, and belief. In an era where conspiracy theories abound, Roswell serves as a reminder that not all mysteries can be easily solved, and that the search for truth is often complex and multifaceted. For some, Roswell represents a genuine quest to uncover a hidden reality, while for others, it is a cautionary tale about the dangers of speculation and the limits of human knowledge. The Roswell story has also played a significant role in shaping how we view historical events and the narratives we construct around them. It has demonstrated the power of collective belief. as millions of people have contributed to keeping the Roswell mystery alive through stories, investigations, and personal testimonies. This shared fascination reflects a universal desire to explore the unknown and challenge accepted explanations, making Roswell an enduring part of human curiosity in our search for meaning. As long as there are questions about what happened in Roswell, the incident will remain a topic of debate and exploration. The conflicting narratives, hidden truths, and enduring mysteries of Roswell have made it an indelible part of our culture, sparking conversations about government transparency, scientific discovery, and the nature of reality itself. Roswell has transcended its origins as a simple crash site, becoming a symbol of the human spirit's unrelenting pursuit of knowledge and the hope that we are not alone in the universe. In the end, the Roswell incident reminds us that some mysteries may never be solved, and that perhaps, the journey of searching for answers is just as important as the answers themselves. Whether or not we ever learn the full truth about Roswell, its story will endure as a testament to the unknown and the possibilities that lie beyond our understanding.